It's Monday, November 26th, and time for your Barbados Today morning news update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. It's good news. That's how political scientist Peter Wickham describes reports that the University of Glasgow in the United Kingdom has agreed to pay £200 million in reparation payments to the University of the West Indies. Vice-Chancellor of the UWI, Sir Hilary Beckles, made the disclosure following a recent trip to the UK. According to Sir Hilary, the University of Glasgow has embarked on a wide-ranging and ambitious reparative justice program that is based on the findings of more than 2 years of research. That research includes a report published by the university entitled Slavery Abolition and the University of Glasgow. It revealed that the university benefited directly from the slave trade in Africa and the Caribbean in the 18th and 19th centuries to the tune of £200 million in today's money. Wickham tells Barbados Today it's a positive development, but says the UWI must provide more about the initiative.
One also is inclined to ask if the University of Glasgow has taken responsibility on behalf of the British government that would really have been responsible for the atrocities of slavery, many years ago. So are we to understand that the University of Glasgow has taken responsibility on their behalf to make this commitment? And then the second thing is, am I to understand that the University of the West Indies is the only entity that is supposed to benefit from monies associated with slavery? And I just found that the relationship between University of Glasgow and University of the West Indies is an interesting one, and it presumes that the University of the West Indies is the only entity that is entitled to benefit, when my understanding is that reparations speak to an entire civilization. Apart from that, I think it's really good news, but I really would be anxious to hear a bit more information about how the whole deal will work, who else will benefit, and what guidelines have been given in terms of the manner in which University of the West Indies is supposed to be distributing the funds. But I'm sure let's congratulate Professor Beckles and his team for excellent work done on behalf of the Caribbean diaspora.
Barbados still has a long way to go in tackling the issue of gender-based violence. That's according to Public Relations Officer of the National Organization of Women, Marsha Hines, as the country joins the rest of the world in observing 16 days of activism to end all forms of violence against women and girls. Hines tells Barbados Today there's still a challenge in getting concise statistics on cases on the island.
As we begin the celebrations for the 16 days of activism for the end of all forms of violence against women and girls, I think very much one of the biggest challenges that we have is that we're not able to adequately pattern our epidemic in Barbados. We still need to do a whole lot more in terms of making sure that we can collate statistics, that we can understand our epidemic, and that's one of the areas that continues to be a bugbearer for us. The police collects the ones that come through them, the hospital collects the ones that come through them, the Barbados Professional Women Club Shelter, which is one of our affiliates, they collect the statistics that come through them, but we still don't have a singular and coordinated place through which we can get a real sense of what we are fighting. And I think that is one of the things that remains the most outstanding as we move into this period for another year.
The 16 days of activism began yesterday, which was the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women, and ends on Human Rights Day. That is observed on December 10. There is a call for faith-based organizations and churches to play a more active role in the country's schools and colleges. It's coming from Minister of People Empowerment, Cynthia Ford, who said there is a need for more children to be exposed to strong, positive religious values and morals taught by those institutions. The minister made the comments as she delivered the feature address to culminate International Men's Day activities held at the Ebenezer Revival Center yesterday.
We need for those institutions to be again working with our schools and our communities to make that tremendous difference. I know some police officers who are well steeped in the faith, and they make a tremendous difference in the lives of young people, especially boys. And therefore, I encourage these faith-based organizations and the churches and so get into our schools and colleges, go to the polytechnic too, go up to community college, go to the continuing education classes, go down to the university as well, because I am not satisfied that enough of our people, on whom millions of dollars are spent every year, understand fully their roles in coming back and giving back to the society.
The Milton Lynch Primary School at Water Street, Christchurch will be closed today. That's according to the Ministry of Education and Technological and Vocational Training. The ministry said the closure was necessary to allow for the completion of remedial work on the school's roof. The educational institution will reopen on Tuesday, November 27. The new Anglican Bishop of Barbados, Senator Reverend Michael Maxwell, will be consecrated on January 27 next year at the Gymnasium, while his enthronement ceremony will be held on January 28 at the St. Michael Cathedral. Senator Maxwell succeeds the Most Reverend Dr. John Holder, who retired as Bishop and Archbishop of the West Indies on February 28. Police have identified the body of a man found at Spencer's, Christchurch yesterday. It is that of 52-year-old Alwin Gooding of Shannock's, Christchurch. Gooding's lifeless body was found in a bushy area by a passers-by around 3:35 p.m. Investigations are continuing.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We pick up with news from the regional scene. The Ministry of Tourism in Trinidad and Tobago is keeping a close eye on recent swine flu cases in the country. It follows an announcement in Parliament last week by Health Minister Dr. Duan Sanz that the country had recorded 2 cases of the H1N1 virus. One of those infected has reportedly died. Director General in the Ministry of Tourism, Joy Jibrilu, says her ministry is closely monitoring the cases in an effort to minimize its impact on the industry. However, Dr. Sanz has encouraged all individuals over the age of 6 months to get vaccinated. And on the international scene, EU leaders finally sealed a Brexit deal with the UK on Sunday. The leaders gave the deal their blessings after less than an hour's discussion, insisting it was in the best interest and only deal possible for the country. However, the deal now needs the approval of the UK Parliament.
Now it's time for everybody to take their responsibility.
A stark message from EU leaders in Brussels Sunday as they urged the UK to back Theresa May's contentious Brexit deal. After years of tough negotiations, the British Prime Minister's plan finally has the approval of all 27 EU states. But the challenge is now in Britain, where it still faces furious opposition. EU leaders took barely half an hour to rubber stamp the 600-page agreement on Sunday, after last-minute talks on Gibraltar cleared the way. The biggest question is now whether May's divided minority government can steer the deal through Parliament, where opposition is fierce. The agreement sees London following many EU rules to keep easy trade access and includes a backstop which could align Northern Ireland more closely with the EU if no other way can be found to avoid a hard border with the Republic of Ireland. May made a direct appeal to the British public on Sunday, writing an open letter to the nation urging everyone to save Brexit. She said the deal is in the, quote, national interest, one that works for everyone, whether you voted Leave or Remain.
And that's news. But for the latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, and you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good morning.